North Korean leader Kim Jong-un hosted former U.S. basketball player Dennis Rodman recently for the second time, furthering what has become one of the world's more unusual relationships.
Rodman says his trips to North Korea are missions of basketball diplomacy, but he has not been able to help free American tour operator Kenneth Bae, who was arrested in North Korea in November and convicted of trying to topple the government.
U.S. officials have been urging North Korea to release Bae on humanitarian grounds. VOA Seoul correspondent Daniel Schearf talked about this and Dennis Rodman's trip with On Assignment's Alexiou. Let's take a look.
Daniel Schearf in South Korea. Can you explain basically what is going on with this relationship between Dennis Rodman and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un?
The first time he went there for a documentary film that he was making about doing a basketball tournament in North Korea. So it was very much a commercial event. But as part of that, he ended up meeting with Kim Jong-un, who is known to be a basketball fan, as was his father. And they seemed to form a fairly tight relationship. And he was invited back to North Korea, and he did go back and managed to have once again, one-on-one time with this very mysterious and young leader, the first American to do so. And so he says they're friends, and he's been invited to not only go back again with some other American basketball players for a exhibition game with North Korean players, but he's also apparently, according to him, he's been invited to help Kim Jong-un to write a book and to potentially even coach the Olympic basketball team for North Korea. So they seem to have formed quite a tight bond.
They said, Dennis, we'd love for you to do one thing for us. For the next Olympics, can you train our Olympic team to compete in the Olympics for the next 3 years? I'm like, okay, I will.
Well, what about the South Koreans? They certainly are fully aware of what it's like in the North. What are they seeing when they see Dennis Rodman chumming it up with Kim Jong-un?
I think the South Koreans are looking at Dennis Rodman more or less like we look at Dennis Rodman in the United States and in the West in general. He's a celebrity. He's known for controversy, for getting into the newspapers. He's there to be a self-promoter. At the same time, there, of course, is some hope that potentially some goodwill could come out of this. But in general, I think that certainly the officials here and most people don't take Dennis Rodman that seriously because he doesn't show himself to be a very serious person. And we saw that by the way he very quickly dropped the case of the jailed Korean-American Kenneth Bae.
Yes, I don't want to talk about politics because if I do that, it's a whole different ballgame. I wasn't going over there to try to rescue somebody. I'm trying to do one thing, open doors.
So obviously, human rights, the issue of Kenneth Bae, imprisoned Korean-American in North Korea, means very little to Dennis Rodman at this point. And he lost what little credibility he had started to develop on the issue of human rights in North Korea. But some information is coming from his visits and from his meetings with Kim Jong-un. We found out that he has a daughter, and he found out the name of his daughter. That was something that was not known before. It's a very mysterious country, so it's possible that some information may come out of this relationship. Of course, with an exhibition game between American and North Korean players, some goodwill could come out of that. North Koreans the public may decide to look on Americans as not being that bad if they see some nice American sportsmen coming into their country and playing a game. But this is also going to be used for propaganda purposes by Pyongyang. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly how far this relationship goes and what can come out of it.
Our thanks to Daniel Schearf. And it might not come in the form of Dennis Rodman, but there's still hope for Kenneth Bae. All 6 Americans North Korea has detained since 2009 have been allowed to return home before serving their full sentences.
Right, and we will certainly be following Bae's situation closely.